did want to transition to Isaiah Stewart, and this is a question that I don't really have an answer for. Maybe you do because you're around the team more than I am. So Isaiah Stewart, we saw shoot a lot of threes last year, high volume and like career highs. So why do you think this season he's not shooting as many 3-point shots?
I just think they have more options instead of him. I don't mind him being a target in terms of 3-point shooting, but I don't think it needs to be a priority necessarily. I understand why people would have wanted him to, maybe be spread out more, but based on how his game is, he's just better as a bruiser and like a scrappy player. I don't look at him as a priority piece that they need to be relying on for when shots aren't falling. If Tobias Harris isn't knocking down threes, but Beef Stew is, I don't look at that as like a good solve for them, because I don't think that's a long-term fix for them to have to, be able to lean back on. So, they said they wanted to look at Stu as more of a center. They made some adjustments with him where he was doing a lot of crashing into the lane, which kind of clogged some space. But from what I'm seeing, I mean, the way defenses play him, and it even goes back to last season, if that's the guy, they're looking at like, oh, that's the guy you want to shoot? Cool, we'll live with that. We know he ain't going to beat us. So, like, I understand people maybe wanting to see a bit more volume, but I don't think that should really be a part of their game plan anyway. You brought Beasley in for a reason. You brought Tim Hardaway in for a reason. And they're setting screens just like Stu is too, but they're flaring out and moving off the screens in a different way. Tobias the same exact way. I just think they have better offensive versatility where they don't have to necessarily lean on him for that. I just don't think, granted, he was good last year. I like the improvements that he made, but I think people are overvaluing that just a little bit. Like, he's not the priority of your offensive package of, oh, if we find him open, that means we did something good. I mean, not necessarily. You want those other four guys to be the focal point of your offense. So, like, I understand the concern, but I just don't think that's really his game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do agree. Even if I'm not saying like he needs to shoot like 8 threes a game, but maybe if he attempted like maybe 2-3 a game, do some instead of like solely running DHOs, maybe do some pick and pops once in a while just to kind of confuse opposing defenses. I think it's there. We've seen him attempt a couple 3-point shots, but I went back and listened to his media day comments, and it kind of feels like he'd rather be down low in the post, just, crashing the glass, getting rebounds, just kind of playing bully ball, if you will. But I know that's a question a lot of fans have had because he was such a high volume 3-point shooter, but maybe that's because he was playing a bulk of his minutes last year at power forward and Jalen Duren was center, and now he's playing center, so he doesn't have those same kind of opportunities. But
yeah,
I'm not really mad at it, but I can understand why fans are like really confused by him not shooting the 3-point shots that he was shooting last year.
I am so confused with the evolution of his game, though, because if anybody remembers back to his rookie year, he had like a little bag where he could get to the mid-range and like get a shot off, find a little bit of creation to get to the hoop. Like he wasn't lost offensively in his rookie season, but we just talked about it with the coaches and different philosophies and kind of going through all those changes. I feel like he's just kind of been pushed around in a lot of different areas where he hasn't really been able to hone in on really any true offensive skills. It's outside of screening and rebounding. I mean, he's done a good job of, being the cleanup guy when they need it. He does a good job of creating some extra chance opportunities on the offensive end. But outside of that, I don't think he's really gotten a good, shake in terms of what he can develop. Like they haven't been able to say, okay, we're going to work on you here shooting these mid-rangers or, give it to you on the block to see if you can, put something together. Like he just hasn't had that, especially going back to last year when they used him primarily as that spot-up shooter off of screen. So it's clear he's not that stretch forward that they tried to use him as either. So I don't know. He's kind of in a confusing area, especially when Duren does come back. I feel like in even with Paul Reed playing well too, I don't think Paul Reed's a guy you can leave on the bench. He gives you too much offensively. He shows effort defensively. I would like to see more minutes for him. So, Stu's in a tough spot. I'm with you. I do understand some of the concerns. I'm just kind of confused in what direction they go in to solve it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's something because a lot of people were they saw all the the high volume threes and shooting 38% from three, I think is a big accomplishment. They were expecting him to, play more 5-out, have the Pistons be a 5-out offense. And you see a lot of teams do that in the modern NBA, like the Celtics, OKC, New York, who, waxed us. You saw that in full effect with Karl Anthony Towns, which I think, I wouldn't be opposed to him maybe shooting 2 or 3 a game. Maybe you kind of experiment in that way, but I'm not like pounding my fist on the table for him to shoot the amount of threes that he shot last year, because I just don't think it's needed personally. But did want to touch on it for just a little bit.